So you can't even make this up, right? It's like a joke now. Look at this page. Very small. You see this. Breaking. Special counsel won't charge Biden in classified documents probe. Let's read this. Special counsel won't charge Biden in classified documents probe. Special counsel Robert Hur said he will not recommend charges against President Joe Biden for his handling of classified documents while out of office, despite finding evidence that Biden willfully retained materials, capping a year-long investigation that loomed over the 2024 presidential election. So that's capped it. It's done, right? Oh, hey, he's ready to go. Hey, clean hands. We're good to go, friends. Let's go, Joe Biden, right? Yeah. We conclude that no criminal charges are warranted in this matter, said Hur's report. We would conclude the same even if there was no policy against charging a sitting president or investigation uncovered evidence that President Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified information after his vice presidency when he was a private citizen. Despite this, the special counsel uncovered evidence that President Biden willfully retained and disclosed classified information after his vice presidency when he was a private citizen, the report says. These materials include marked classified documents about military and foreign policy in Afghanistan and notebooks containing Mr. Biden's handwritten entries about issues of national security and foreign policy implicating sensitive intelligence sources and methods. The materials were found in the garage, offices, and basement den in Mr. Biden's Wilmington, Delaware home, the report said. Let's see if there's more. Still, Hur's office felt that the evidence does not establish Mr. Biden's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Notably, Hur believed that at trial, Biden could come across not only as sympathetic, this is the one, but forgetful and not capable of the willfulness required to convict. Let's read that again. Notably, Hur believed that at trial, Biden could come across not only as sympathetic, but forgetful and not capable of the willfulness required to convict. But forgetful? Really? Our president? We have also considered that, at trial, Mr. Biden would likely present himself to a jury, as he did during our interview of him, as a sympathetic, well-meaning, elderly man with a poor memory, the report said. It would be difficult to convince a jury that they should convict him, by then a former president well into his 80s, of a serious felony that requires a mental state of willfulness. Attorneys for Biden blasted the special counsel's characterization of the president's memory and recollections during his 2-day interview with investigators in October. They were literally trying to help him, and his own counsel is mad at them. I mean, we don't believe that the report's treatment of President Biden's memory is accurate or appropriate, wrote the Richard Sauber, special counsel to the president, and Bob Bauer, a personal attorney for the president. In fact, there is ample evidence from your interview that the president did well in answering your questions about years-old events over the course of 5 hours. The attorneys noted that the interview took place in the midst of the October 7th attack on Israel, when Biden was busy conducting calls with head of states, cabinet members, members of Congress, and meeting repeatedly with his national security team. It is hardly fair to concede that the president would be asked about events years in the past, press him to give his best recollections, and then fault him for his limited memory, they wrote. So, right. Biden, speaking Thursday afternoon in Virginia, noted the differences between his case and Trump's. Oh, of course there's a difference, right? Rules for Me, but not for thee. Rules for thee, but not for me. Or however that said. And how the special counsel in this probe has decided not to press charges. There's a difference, of course, when he does it. But Donald Trump? No, no, no. This matter is now closed, Biden said. Done. I'm clean hands, Biden, and I get to run for president. No questions asked. Hur's report said investigators found documents marked classified from as far back as the 1970s. Dude, like from the 1970s. Think about that. We're in 2024. Okay. I'm 47 years old. So he's had documents in his possession for an additional 54 years. Think about that. He's had classified documents in his possession for 54 years. Hur's report said investigators found documents marked classified from as far back as the 1970s, including a box labeled International Travel 1973-1979. I wasn't even born in 1973, man. Containing materials from Biden's trip to Asia and Europe that included roughly a dozen marked classified documents that are currently classified at the secret level. According to the report, among the classified documents Biden retained were materials documenting his opposition to the troop surge in Afghanistan, including a classified handwritten memo he sent President Obama over the 2009 Thanksgiving holiday, which FBI agents recovered from Biden's Delaware home in its garage. Asked in his interview with investigators about handwriting on a folder containing marked classified documents about Afghanistan, the report said Biden identified the handwriting as his, but said that he recalled nothing about how the folder or its contents got into his garage. Maybe Donald Trump put him there, huh? Yeah. Donald Trump put him there. That's right. Donald Trump put him there. The report lays out that Biden, in writing his 2007 and 2017 memoirs, worked with a ghostwriter, and in a recorded conversation with the ghostwriter a month after he left office, referenced the 2009 memos, saying that he had just found all the classified stuff downstairs. He just found it. Someone put it there. It wasn't him, though, right? At that time, Biden was renting a home in Virginia, the report says, and met the ghostwriter there to work on second memoir. He moved out of the Virginia home in 2019 and consolidated his belongings in Delaware, where the report says FBI agents later found the documents marked classified about Afghanistan troop surges in his garage. As such, the report says, evidence supports the inference that when Mr. Biden said the comment in 2017, he was referring to the same marked classified documents about Afghanistan that FBI agents found in 2022 in his Delaware garage. Oh, evidence supports the inference. Man, must be nice having the FBI on your side. The report also said that Biden created his own classified documents via his own handwritten notes in notebooks and note cards, some of which Biden brought home with him and stored in unsecured locations that were not authorized to store classified information, even though the notebooks. I don't know. That wording is kind of strange. The report said Biden used notebooks filled with sensitive material to write his 2017 memoir, allegedly acknowledging to his ghostwriter that some of the documents he relied on might be classified. In writing, "Promise me, Dad," Mr. Biden relied extensively on the notebooks containing the notes he took during his vice presidency, said the report. The notebooks contained notes of meetings Mr. Biden attended, as well as entries about his other activities during this period. Many of the meetings related to foreign policy and classified information, including the president's daily brief, National Security Council meetings, and other briefings. Some of these entries remain classified up to the secret level, said the report. Hur's long-anticipated report was released Thursday, hours after the White House reviewed the documents and announced that in keeping with his commitment to cooperation and transparency, the president would not assert executive privilege over any portion of the report. Of course he's not. I mean, he's scot-free because, as he said, the matter is now closed. Ian Sams, a spokesperson for the White House counsel's office, said in a statement that the president's legal team had completed a review of the report and that in keeping with his commitment to cooperation and transparency, the president would not assert executive privilege over any portion of the report. Attorney General Merrick Garland earlier this week informed key lawmakers that Hur had concluded his investigation, which examined how approximately 24 classified documents wound up at Biden's personal home and office. The records in question date back to Biden's time as vice president, and at least some include top secret markings, the highest level of classification. Garland appointed Hur as special counsel in January 2023 after aides to the president discovered a batch of 10 documents at the Penn Biden Center in Washington, D.C., where Biden kept an office after his vice presidency. A second discovery of additional records in the garage of Biden's Wilmington, Delaware home precipitated Garland's decision to assign Hur as special counsel, ABC News reported at the time. The report stated that Mr. Biden's memory was significantly limited, both during his recorded interview with the ghostwriter in 2017 and his interview with our office in 2023. Investigators interviewed as many as 100 current and former officials, including Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, former White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain, and Hunter Biden, the president's son, in October. Hur's team spent 2 days interviewing Biden himself. And I mean, look at the picture of this stuff, man. You can't even make this up. He has it with a cooler, right? A bag, personal belongings. ABC News previously reported that sources who were present for some of the interviews, including witnesses, said that authorities had apparently uncovered instances of carelessness from Biden's vice presidency, but that based on what was said in the interviews, the improper removal of classified documents from Biden's office when he left the White House in 2017 seemed to be more likely a mistake than a criminal act. Of course it's a mistake. Of course. The White House had emphasized from the beginning that it would cooperate with investigators. Of course, because they knew he'd be scot-free. Biden himself repeatedly denied any personal wrongdoing and said he was surprised to learn of the document's existence. Of course. Yep. The Hur investigation has played out quietly against the backdrop of special counsel Jack Smith's inquiry into former President Donald Trump's handling of classified records, which culminated last year in a 40-count indictment, to which Trump has pleaded not guilty. Can't even make this up. Trump has sought to link his circumstances to Biden's by trying to draw an equivalence between their conduct and calling his prosecution the result of a justice system improperly targeting Republicans. But records subsequently released by the National Archives indicate that Biden's legal team cooperated with National Archives officials, whereas federal prosecutors have accused Trump of deliberately withholding records he knew to be classified from investigators with the National Archives, and later the FBI. Hur's report drew that distinction, saying, most notably, after being given multiple chances to return classified documents and avoid prosecution, Mr. Trump allegedly did the opposite. According to the indictment, he not only refused to return the documents for many months, but he also obstructed justice by enlisting others to destroy evidence and then to lie about it. In contrast, the report says, Mr. Biden turned in classified documents to the National Archives, and the Department of Justice consented to the search of multiple locations, including his homes, sat for a voluntary interview, and in other ways cooperated with the investigation. So, because he cooperated, he's not guilty. It's by Pierre Thomas, Alexander Malin, Lucien Bruggeman, and Catherine Folders. ABC News, February 8th, 2024 at 1:51 p.m. So thank you. I'm reading your story, so just to make sure you get credit for that. And I'll link this article directly to the video.